Hey everybody, hi. Today we're going to learn Swift 4 programming, and I'm going to use the beta version of Xcode called Xcode 9.0. So let's just get started with Swift programming language. So when you open Xcode, you get this kind of a screen which says that you have to open a playground or you have to open the project. So in general, if you're learning Swift for the first time, open the playground. The projects are only for professionals who want to create a project. Now here I just want to play around with Swift and show you a few things. So just open a blank playground document. You can also open single view applications and maps and games, but we'll just open the blank here and say click next. So it'll ask you what is the name of the playground that you want to say. So you can say my playground, or you can say my playground first time play. So I'm just creating a project file here calling it first time play. So when you open Swift, this is the kind of screen that you get. Now I can increase the size of this screen if I want to, but for this presentation I'm just going to keep it at this. So what you do is as you can see that it's already imported a UI kit, and it's given you this statement of var string and all of that. So for now I'll just remove it and I'll start off with a clean slate. Okay, so what you see here is a screen where you type stuff, and what you see on the left, on the right side, which is this side, is that you see the output of that. So let's say I were to type something like print something 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 and like this. So what would happen is it would get executed here. This is what the program is running here. So what's the output comes out here. And if it is something which is which can be seen in the print command, so you can see it here as well. So this is where the user will see it. So in the bottom half is where the user will see it. This is the console where you would see it. Okay, and this is where you type the program. So let's just start off with a few things. So first thing first, I think what you should know about any programming language, and here we're talking Swift 4, is that every programming language has the most basic principle of variables. Now variable is assigned as var in Swift. So let's say var is the short for variable. So if we were to type something like this, variable, the short form of that is var. That's kind of a keyword. So you use this keyword to assign your variable. So what I mean by assigning is that you start initiating a variable. You say that this is the variable I want to define, and this is the value I want to give it. So you can give different values to variable. A variable can have a value of a string, which is basically English, or it can have a value of numeric, which is math basically. So it could have a value of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, or it could have a value of 1.2 1.3 2.4, which is basically decimals. That's called double. So let's just see these three things really, and then we'll go into other things perhaps later. So I'm going to open this variable and I'm going to call it, let's say, I will do the customary thing. So we'll call it hello. And you put a colon and you say that this is a string. Now what it does is that this is good way of writing a code, because it tells your users, the other coders who come and see this code, that this is a string that you're declaring. Though it's not necessary, it's a good way of sort of writing code. So here you declare a string which is called as hello world, comma, how are you. So let's say I've just done this. Now when I print this, you can see on the right hand side automatically it's got executed. So what is executed is that hello world, how are you. Okay, so now if I simply type hello, it will again get executed. So you would be able to see it one more time here. on the right hand side. Now I do have to tell you that Xcode as an IDE is not very fast. The reason is because it compiles the code, okay, and I don't want to get into details of compile versus compile versus interpreted. But what I mean is that there are two classes of languages. One is called compiled and one is called interpreted. And Swift is a compiled language, and because it is a compiled language, its execution engine, which it's using, the playground, takes a bit of more time to execute it, because there are several more steps which have to be done in compilation. But once it's executed, compiled code is generally considered faster. So this is so we've seen hello here. Now let's just try to print that below. So this is another command you should know about. So it's called the print with a lower case, and put a bracket, and don't put a bracket, just type hello if it's a variable, and automatically that will get printed below. So you'll be able to see that coming below. And if you're wanting to print something without even having a variable assigned to you, just put a quotes there, and put something, and it will come through. So you can print anything, and if it's an integer, just put a number there and close it. So it should print that number. So print is an amazing function, because it sort of allows you to print stuff in there, to the user. So whatever you print, the user gets to see that. Now I'll just hold off until it prints everything. So I've given it three kind of variables. One is a string, another one is a string, but it's not assigned to any variable. And the third one is an integer, and the fourth one is a double. Okay, so we will get into all of those one by one. So now let's open a integer. So what we do is we write var, and let's say I want to type a number. So we say number, and you can do this, or you can simply type the number 90. Okay, it's easier to type it like this, but I would suggest you start off doing this, because once you do this, then it's easier for you to learn. Now in some languages you have a semicolon. In Swift you don't have this semicolon. You simply type it and you get the value there. Now if you of course print number, you will get 90 below. I got to be very careful about the spelling. So now you would see 90 below. While it's printing, okay, you got 90. Now let's try to add 1.4 to it. Okay, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this, because 1.4 is not an integer. It's something called as in other languages you call it a floating point value, but in Swift you call it as double. So let's say you have another variable called x, and I give it a value of 1.5. Okay, now if I were to add this, typically this should happen. Okay, but in Swift it will not allow different types of variable to add. So number plus, if I were to do 988, it will add that number, no problems. See, it's given here, you see the value. But if I were to give it a value of this x, which is 1.5, and if I say 1.5, it will not allow me to answer that. It's saying the binary operator cannot be applied, as there are different types. So in Swift it doesn't allow different types of data to be combined. Now if you were to do the same thing in JavaScript, it would have allowed you, because JavaScript is a loosely typed language, but Swift is not. So ideally it should not allow you, because these are two different types. Now all these are kind of checks and balances that strongly typed languages have, which Swift of course is a strongly typed language, or it's also called a statically typed language. So what I'm wanting to do is that I have to tell you this. So x, let's say now we do it the right way. We give x a value of double, and we give it a value of 1.4555, and we have to declare, let's say, a value of y, and we give it a double again, and this time we give it a value of. Now you see that I can have any kind of intent, it's not a problem, but if you were to do a different spacing in Python, it would have given you an error. So Swift is like Python, but it doesn't sort of respect indent. So now here I have two doubles, so here I can easily add both these doubles or subtract it or do whatever I want to do. So I'm doing x plus y, and I should get a value here. Yeah, you got it. So x plus y is 3.8 here. You can ignore it because it's printing something from before. If I say print x plus y, it will print it below. So it will print it below. As I said, Swift is a compiled language. It takes a bit of time to do all these things. So what we've learned here is three things. We've learned variable, which could be a string, it could be a number, and in numbers we've got two varieties. One is called double, and we have got integers. And we have also learned that integers and double, which is 1 followed by 1.1, 1 followed by point, cannot be added. So if you have to add numbers, you have to first declare it as int or double, and then you can only add double and you can only add ints together. So these are three things which are quite useful to start off as a programmer. I would definitely encourage you to start learning Swift. It's a very good programming language, quite simple, and it's taken the best of the both worlds. It's taken all the good things from Python, and it's trying to take a lot of simpler things from JavaScript, and it also has the advantages of being statically typed language. So it's a pretty good language to learn. So I think that's what I wanted to teach you. I will probably leave you with a couple of more bonus additions. Like I want to teach you about Boolean. So let's just sort of say one more thing. And Boolean is an operator. So let's say I want to say that there is a variable called is true or false. So let's say I want to declare a variable called is true. Now this is represented by something called as a Boolean. And what happens is I can give it a value of true. It's lowercase true, okay, remember that. So if I give it a value of true, it becomes true. And if I change the value to false, it becomes false. Now why do you need this? You need these values because in case you have an operation where you say that go open the door, and your condition should be, is the door locked? If the value of that is true, then you can't open the door, so you come back, okay? And if the value of that door is unlocked, so it will be open the door. So those kind of simpler operations can be done using a Boolean operator. So it's like a light switching off and light switching off. So it's got only two conditions. It's got an off, it's got an on kind of a condition. So that's Boolean, which is kind of a bonus tip I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and see you for the next Swift 4 tutorial. Thank you. Bye bye.